Hey, I'm Sean.
And I'm Jackie.
And this is Rookie Roost. In this video, we show you how we put in our roof insulation and then capped it all off with sheathing. Before we could install the insulation, we needed to cut furring strips in order to extend the depth of the rafters. This is to allow a continuous air gap beneath the roof sheathing for ventilation. We ripped off this idea straight from Tiny Nest, but from what I've read on the subject as well, it seems like it'll do the job. I did read that a minimum gap of 2 inches is recommended, but since the roof is so small, I'm hoping our 1-inch gap will suffice. Here are a few photos that show how the air gap works. The fascia here is still white, and you can see how it's set off from the subfascia with those little spacers. So air can come up underneath the fascia, travel along the roof above the insulation, and exit out the other side. The bug screen goes underneath the roof sheathing and wraps over top, so hopefully it'll keep all the nasty things out. It was time to trim down the excess rod length since we were saying goodbye to being able to access them. This one rod needed to be trimmed from the top because the bottom of it had some damage and couldn't be threaded fully.
I'm sure the threads are f***ed up enough, but I can f*** them up more.
Just f*** them up right near the nut. Just a little bit, don't do much.
I did it without killing myself.
On the rest of the rods, we put little nicks in the threads in hopes that it'll keep the nut from ever loosening off, just in case it does vibrate loose a bit. We used Roxel R22 insulation for use with 2x6 joists. 2 bats spanned the roof perfectly, and then we just cut little pieces to go on top of the top plates. We found these yellow putty knife plaster smoothing things to be really helpful in making sure the insulation was sitting properly.
Okay, so that's why we don't buy cheap plastic ones, I guess.
Man. They're all plastic.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't buy those.
That was the best f***ing one. We took our time to make sure it was all sitting nicely, sweating and swearing the whole time. Like, what is the f***ing process here? This is where we discovered our rafters weren't perfectly straight.
Why is it not fitting?
The rafters look a little tight here.
Why would they be?
I know. Well, what does it look like down there?
It looks like it looks like it's bulging out down here now.
We needed to trim 1 row of insulation in order to get it to fit.
Take off the mask. Get a f***ing break.
Once all the insulation was in, we stapled strips of tie wire to the rafters as extra precaution to prevent any of the bats from falling loose. They were holding themselves up fine, but it was a simple process to make sure they stayed that way. Now it was time to cap off the roof with 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood. We used the 3D model to plan out where each piece would fit, but measured as we built to make sure we were being accurate in the real world. It went swimmingly until we had to confront that crooked rafter problem. So here we have another example of why we're called Rookie Roost. Because like rookies, instead of measuring for these rafters off a single corner, and then going all the way along, 16 inch on center, we got part way and then just measured off a rafter for the rest. And something must have gotten lost between the two of us or something, because our rafters aren't sitting perfectly straight. So this board here, this piece of sheathing we're about to put on, is sitting straight. And as you can see, the rafter kind of dives off there pretty steeply. So we're just gonna slice that off and fix it.
And then we will also have to cut the next one on an angle. Because we're stupid. Okay. So, cutting on the roof. Here we go. Excellent. Good job, guys.
Overall, the roof sheathing was a pretty simple job, though very tiring. We did all of the insulation and sheathing in one day because we were paranoid about bugs getting at the uncovered insulation. Once it was done, we checked to see the real-world measurements of the roof because we need accurate measurements when ordering the metal roofing material. We were actually really surprised to find that the roof was almost perfectly square. We thought we were making a ton of little errors throughout the build and that it would show itself profoundly once we got to the top, but I guess we did an alright job after all. A few days later, we finished screwing down the roof using more 3-inch deck screws. At the end of this task, we were sitting at day 45 since the start of the build, with a total of 150 hours.
And that's it for this video. See you next time at the Roost.
Thanks for watching. It really helps me out if you hit that thumbs up if you like this video, and click on the Rookie Roost logo to subscribe to the channel. If you click on that little bell icon, you can get an email notification when new videos go live. You can also follow the daily progress of the build on social media and over at the Rookie Roost website. Check the description below for the links.